I can tell you, welcome back to the Hockey Guys, and this is not our first Ham's beer of the morning.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. That sounded good. All three popping like that.
Hey, Valley Imports, our presenting sponsor. The Hockey Guys brought to you by Valley Imports and Valley Pre-Owned, your best price leader in the region. Find your next vehicle at valleyimports.com.
Hey, Wills, practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
100%. You guys, I got so many shout-outs. Can I take the first half hour?
No, I got to. Hey, Eddie, I'm going to regress from college hockey for a second. I heard a great family story about a husband and wife and 3 daughters going out to Medora. They were going to take pictures riding these horses, and they were going to take Christmas photos, and they were going to take forever photos to send to family members. And Dean, you were planning this huge trip.
Like the Griswolds.
Yeah, you got to tell the real story now.
Oh, all right. So we did the Medora musical. If you haven't gone,
slow down. Don't rush it now.
The Medora musical, you got to go to it. It's crazy good, you know. Anyway, so I have planned, like we're like the Griswolds and Waldo World or whatever, you know. We go there, and I book it for all 4 daughters. We're going horseback riding in the Badlands, right? So we get there, and we're loading up, having a great time. It's really good. And I look at the corner of my eye in the barn there where the horses are coming out. 220 weight restriction. So being a trained professional I am, we load up. You know, I don't say anything, and the stable guy goes, "Excuse me, sir, how much do you weigh?" I said, "You know what? I haven't weighed myself in a while, but I think like 218. I don't know." I hop on the scale. The scale looks at me, one person at a time. You know, I'm packing 240, 250. He goes, "You can't ride." I go, "What? What kind of wimp horses you got?" So, anyways, I don't get to ride it, and then I doggone it, and then my wife goes, "We don't need to go on that horse." So 2 hours later, I'm in my van with pencils in my nose, Luke Skywalker, and you know what I mean? But they had a great time, and I spent a little time in my van.
They didn't make you walk alongside till you could get to wait?
No. I was so mad at that farmer guy. I go, "You don't have a Clydesdale up there or something?"
Yeah, it's a horse issue. Not your. I'm 100% behind you on that, Wells.
Oh, he's strong as a horse. Yeah, what do you got? Horses with scurvy up there? Come on. Hey, here's my shout-outs.
They could have charged you extra.
It's a good thing they had the sling on you when it read 242.
Yeah, and you know what? Get a chuck wagon. I mean, how hard can it be?
The guy tried hard to hold him up with the backhand of the sling, and he was still in at 242.
All right, you guys. So, anyways, hey, my buddy
Jonas. Good morning, boys.
Hey, Jonas, my buddy from Norway. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Jonas. This is a cool story. Last week I was at UND game. Lauren Gieser. He farms in Munich, which is north of Cavalier, north of Devil's Lake and that. He's from Callow, North Dakota. You know what he says to me? I don't even bring it up. He goes, "We love the Hockey Guys, and you know what? And we love Ham's beer." I kid you not. He says, "That's all we drink up there is Ham beers." Lauren Geezer, shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for watching the Hockey Guys.
We're raising our hams and saying cheers.
Lauren,
we're raising our hams and saying cheers.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren.
Lauren is just like the beverage, born from the sky blue water, right? Okay, who else do you got on your list you got to thank?
All right, I love my wife, but I didn't do anything wrong yesterday, so I don't have to give her a shout-out. No, she's a great lady, and trick-or-treating, eh? I mean, oh, my God, we had all the Waltons over, all my grandkids.
Speaking of trick-or-treating, last night I did not even turn my lights on in my house. I didn't even turn my TV on. I just sat on my lazy boy and hoped nobody was going to ring my doorbell last night. Okay, so I didn't watch any hockey games.
Thursday night was Halloween, Jeff.
That was last night, right?
Yeah, it was the night before. It's all right.
Oh,
you already spring back fall back, spring ahead. You already fell back. You're good. You're all good. Scores were pretty good.
That was a day late?
Yeah, $1 short. What do you think, Eddie? What do you think of the scores last night? I thought they were pretty interesting.
Yeah, there was some interest. I mean, the ones that are obvious is right now things look pretty good in the Colorado region. You've got, if you're paying attention to college hockey, you're 13-0. If you're looking at Colorado College and Denver. Denver's 7-0 to start the year, and Colorado College 6-0 to start the year.
Well, Colorado College is playing Air Force, and that they're playing for the Pikes Peak Cup, and that is a huge thing in Colorado Springs with Colorado College and the Air Force Academy there. Speaking of the Air Force Academy, we're going to have Coach Frank Serratore on at 9:35. As you could imagine, he's going to be a little intense today.
I think he's a little worried that he might have to tell stories in the middle of a pretty heated weekend.
That was a 3-2 score last night.
Overtime
Goal. So Air Force gave CC, a ranked team, a good run for the money.
Notre Dame, after getting knocked off by Long Island last weekend, came back, and Wisconsin becomes the victim of Notre Dame. So to me, that was maybe a little bit of a surprise.
You know what? I don't know what's happening in Wisconsin. Remember, they were ranked up there, and they went, top 10? Now they're out of the rankings. And you talk about Denver. They played Yale last night, knocked them off 6-0. Yale's got a good program, but you look at a young man, Eric Polkamp, two goals and assist. Jack Devine, one of the top players in college hockey, picking up 3 points. And they got Bev Bynum, the number 1 draft pick of the Minnesota Wild, picking up 1 assist and a power play.
Maybe time to have Mike Hastings back on. I think he does better when he starts the season with the hockey guys than he does without us, as it appears presently. Catch that, Wills?
Yeah, I did. But, Denver back-to-back. I mean, they're out of the shoes hard. They got some great players in. That's a little chat I want to have with Serratore, the NIL and a little bit of we kicked that horse about open enrollment, the portal, but I want to hit him up with that, his thoughts on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we want to talk. I want to talk with Coach Frank, the legend, right? 5th on the current active list of current coaches in college hockey with wins, what he thinks of the NCAA ruling allowing Tier 1 Canadian hockey players to come down and play college hockey.
We'll have that discussion when he's on. Obviously does not help any of the academies.
I think it does. I think you're going to have the bigger colleges picking up more Canadians, which is fine.
How do you enlist in the Air Force as a Canadian?
Because the players that would normally sign for those American teams.
How do you sign a Canadian to the Air Force Academy?
Because the Americans that don't go, that are being replaced by the Canadians, are going to be there.
I don't believe.
To go to
well,
the
we want to
academy.
get a little history here, Eddie. Push my buttons, because I was at Arlington and they got a big monument of Canadians that died in the Vietnam War that volunteered to go to it. They weren't drafted, So maybe internationally, is there a stipulation you have to be a U.S. citizen?
That's the question I have to ask. Because can the academies even be involved if there's a Canadian that wants to come down into college hockey?
I don't know.
Good question, But like I said, it's
293-9000, 701-293-9000. Give us a call. Let us know what you're thinking, Eddie.
Hey, Ham's Beer, Beverage Wholesalers, is this intermission sponsor. So thank you, Ham's. Still brewed in that true family tradition, using the purest water and the choicest barley, grain, and hops. And we'll be back here on the Hockey Guys to continue the discussion amongst those of us that are a little undereducated for being North Dakota graduates.
Thank you, Ken, for your kind words.
You know, I met him in
Drive
Denver.
the Zamboni.
Boney. I want to drive the Zamboni. Can you imagine how we sound with a few more beers?
Hey, a little shout out to Martin, who was at my summer event this past summer and gave a couple of original renditions to get all the kids out. So,
Wow.
Martin, little shout out. Wanted to give you a little attention.
That's pretty wow factor.
You know, we got to get him on our show close to Christmas. We got to talk about how he wrote that song. You know, there's rumors, people discussing it, sitting on the bench,
Teammate of Bob Motzko.
I know. We can have Bob Motzko stories. We've heard those from Frank
Austin, Minnesota.
Serratore before.
Austin, Minnesota.
Hey, that's where I played my junior hockey.
Where's that?
They let you play juniors?
Austin Mavericks.
Nice.
The town of Hormel.
You're old.
Man, did that stink.
I got to throw out a few gals scores last night, too. Very important to us is the Powers are still powerful winning in gals hockey. As Wisconsin over St. Cloud 6-0. Wisconsin's tough.
Ooh.
Ohio State 5-1 over St. Thomas. They're one of the Powers. They've won, 2 of the last 4 years, the national NCAA.
St. Thomas, right there, like their men's program within 2 years.
They're getting there, but they're not there yet. Minnesota over Bemidji 2-1. Every time I read that, Bemidji rocks it in girls hockey. I'm going to throw it out to UND again. Get girls hockey back over there. They'd rock it too. And the last one I'll just chat about is Minnesota Duluth over Mankato 4-1. The Bulldogs got it going on with girls hockey too.
And a little interesting goaltender from Penn State transferred to Bemidji, but out with some hip issues. Bothan, a connection back to the part of the world of East Grand Forks.
Well, I just like girls hockey. You got pro hockey. You got something to shoot for. The upper end players. You obviously you got Olympic teams and national teams. But I just love that opportunity for gals, and I've got a passion for it. We all do. I mean, it's good for hockey and good for women's hockey.
You know what? Caitlin Clark brought me into the women's basketball field. She was supposed to be so good, so I heard and I watched. Right? Oh my gosh, can those gals play? They'd kick our ass if we played them in a pickup game.
And you should see her swim.
Even with Steve Hallstrom on our show, hitting them and elbowing them.
You should see her swim. She's got a swimming commercial on TV now, so you need to pay more attention when you're
and
watching
golf.
TV.
But she's not doing the 3-point. She's doing downtown Bobby Brown. I mean, she's half-court shots, steps over, boom, swish.
But you know how
So
many
the big M.
how many women professional players, basketball players I've seen in the playoffs do the exact same thing? Many. They're phenomenal players. But, hey, Eddie, I'm going to keep interrupting you. I hope this is wrong. Augustana 0, St. Thomas 4 last night. The attendance for the game in St. Thomas, 826 fans.
There were more people watching the Moorhead Spuds football game on Spuds TV than they had in attendance at St.
So let's do the Y factor. Why?
I know that's. I don't know. That's
Well,
the thing.
their average ticket price may be $1,000. They'll probably break even, no problem.
You know,
It's St. Thomas. There's more money there than there is at Concordia.
Is there too much going on in the big city?
or have they already pre-sold all the seats in the arena, and they don't care how many people sit in there? But
How many's
that's a
at
big
hold?
school. There,
So let's look at the little M. Minnesota over Penn State 3-1, but the big M.
ooh, the big M took it.
Michigan 5-1 over BU. That one
score
shocked
caught me. Yeah, that one caught me too.
You know, I took a look at the game sheet for that game last night, and I copied it, and I got to find it here. So, Wills, just keep talking while I
I'm
find
sure you're going
this.
to drill into the power play, penalty kill, special teams. So, Wills, what do you think? What's Jeff going to come up with there? The goaltenders number of times that have bounced off his mullet, or-
we're North Dakota station, right? But I'll throw out at UND, and I hate doing this.
We tried to avoid that score intentionally.
Well, I know, but what I don't like is I don't like pointing fingers, blaming somebody. And I just saw the highlights. I saw one wraparound that I thought, you have to have that. And I'm not bagging on a goalie, maybe indirectly, maybe a little bit. What are the breakdowns? I would say you got to break down forwards, D, and then the goalie. Goalie makes a mistake, it's a goal, right? But I don't know.
Doc's not here. Don't pick on the goal.
I know, but I'm just going, you know what? And Brad Berry said it best. He said, we got to tidy it up on our end. And I like that because I'm an old defenseman. He's going, come on, defense. Watch back there. The things that'll kill you is what you don't see, right? But I just thought, I don't know. I watched that score and I go, I don't know. I don't want to blame a goalie, but you got to stop the ones you're supposed to stop.
Well, after 2 shots and 2 goals, the goaltender was replaced. Have you ever pulled the goalie during a game, Willis?
Yes, I have, but at the high school, it's a different flavor, and I've done it both ways because little dignity, right? I go, after the first, you're done. So then they don't have to have the walk of shame going to the bench, right? And then I said, I can't wait that long. I got to do it. And sometimes it's strategic, right? It's about lighting a fire on your bench again. I go, there's no one sacred here of sparing anybody. Everybody's got to do their job. So I don't know. I mean, I learned this from Jay Erickson. A shout out to him. He's got some health issues. He's doing. Hopefully he'll do well. But he's the one to go. Wills, they're high school guys. Can we make it work at the end of the period and switch them out? Right. So I used to wait a little bit if I could.
Michigan 2 out of 6 on the power play, 30% last night. That was huge in that game because you take a look at when the goals were scored. Michigan 1, 2, 3, 4 goals in the 3rd period.
Just to the opposite of what BU did to North Dakota on Saturday night last week.
You're right.
So that was interesting. But you look at all the power plays. I check every team I've seen. Their power plays have sucked.
So
which would you, Eddie? Would you think that would be normal this time of the year, struggling with power play with new players?
But you know what? That's something we worked heavily on when I coached. Is that because that's when I think you can catch teams if you're right on pace for those specialty teams. Last weekend, that's what tagged UND. They got a shorty on them. You know what I mean? And
you put your lines together. You think you have 2 top lines. And then you try to think that you're going to outsmart the game and put different guys together and tell them to run 2 minutes. Why don't you just leave your lines together to start the year and figure out where your power play units are? Right,
I agree and disagree. If you can make that work, it's slick. Because if you got a set of 5 that can work well together, you got 2 separate power plays, right? But, in high school, you don't have the depth that the college does where you're mixing and matching, right? You're moving guys around. And you were right, Eddie. You think the best success if 3 guys are playing together up front, leave them together on power play.
Cornell, 0 for 2 on the power play. North Dakota, 0 for 2 on the power play. North Dakota did outshoot Cornell by over 10 shots last night, so they're getting their shots.
A little surprising how few penalties in that game at Cornell. Cornell plays heavy at home. A little surprising that game didn't have many penalties.
I spoke with Coach Mike Schaefer from Cornell. He's retiring after about 30 years. Trying to get him on our show this morning, and he just said he can't do it live on Saturday morning. Wants to do a pre-recorded interview. Knowing this is his last year, guys, we've always said no to all the coaches on pre-recording, but we may want to with Coach Mike Schaefer from Cornell, being there for 30 years.
Well, maybe you'll have to go out and do that live interview to be recorded at the Cornell Arena.
Wonder if the station here would pay for that.
Oh, absolutely, Steve would. Absolutely. Why wouldn't he? But here's another thought, too, with teams every year at the beginning of the year, and I'm just going to throw this out. I thought of UND is you're still trying to recognize that go-to guy, a person who's going to step up to the plate. And I think like the Boston schools, I saw that. Guys that returned, they're the go-to guys. They stepped it up a notch. And a lot of teams a lot of new faces. Like last year, Blake could pop one in on you, right? He'd score. So do you have those guys I'm going to step it up here. I'm going to be the go-to guy.
And again, Snuggie at the little M, that would be the question. Can can they get to the promised land because he came back? Could have left, right?
Snuggeroo scored 2 goals last night.
He's a dude.
Well, we have Coach Frank Serratore coming up in the next period. Be a really entertaining 293-9000. Eddie, thanks somebody.
Citywide Electric. This intermission is sponsored by Citywide. Experience you can trust for design, repair, and installation in any home or business electrical project. That's CitywideElectricND.com. And we'll be back here on the Hockey Guys after this short intermission.
Welcome back, Coach Frank Serratore from the Air Force Academy. Tell you what, you had a battle last night with Colorado College for the big trophy out there.
Yeah. Yep. You know what, boys? It was we had them. We went in there. We are on the young side, and they've got one of the best teams that they've had in a long time. And I was proud of our guys. Our guys gave them everything they wanted and more. To be honest with you, we did everything. We did everything we could do, and we did everything we wanted to accomplish except score the last frickin' goal. And they did what good teams do. They found a way to get back in the game and got that goal in overtime. But I was proud of our young group. They and my coaches. They did a good job. Now we re-rack them again tonight over at the academy.
Is that a two-game series, Coach? Most goals, or how does that?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you've got them tonight, Coach. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we got them. It's not a total goals. To be honest with you, there's some controversy. We don't really. When we started this thing, the rules were different. We were playing 60 minutes with a 5-minute overtime, and then games ended in a tie. So we actually need to win tonight to create some controversy.
That doesn't sound like you, Frank.
Hey, to have a seventh period, right? You're tied after 6, so we have to have a 20-minute game to see who comes out as the trophy.
That sounds like our boot hockey rules, right? Changes every game.
We're just gonna get some special forces ops people and go down on a midnight raid and steal the damn thing.
Yeah, my money's on your team, Coach. Hey, Brendan Gibbons. He got a goal last night and a nice assist. Is that Gibby's boy?
No. Brendan is Brendan's from the East Coast, but he's as big and tough as Mike is. But yeah, he's an East Coast kid. Yeah.
Well, and Coach, thank you for coming on. I know that you are wrapped up as tight as a rubber band could be, and I appreciate you coming on. Question for you. What's your view of Tier 1 up in Canada? I always call it Tier 1, coming down and now being eligible in NCAA hockey.
Well, why shouldn't they be? I mean, everybody else, there is no rules anymore. What are those kids doing up there that really makes them ineligible in this day and age? Hey, the NCAA has professionalized collegiate athletics, and they're gonna say that some kid that is not receiving any more than the kids in Muskegon and the kids in Flint and in the USHL and in the CHL. Those kids are having basically the same experience. At one time, maybe there was a difference. I don't know, but there sure isn't much of a difference right now. And just because they have some kids that have maybe underage kids that have signed some pro contracts and gone back to that league, that taints everybody else. I mean, what about all these European kids that are coming over that have played with European pros, played games on an amateur contract in European pro leagues, but they come over, they sit out a few games, and then they play.
Hey, Coach, your nephew went up to the BC League and saved your brother a few $1,000 of paying for hockey and ended up coming back to Air Force. So there is no difference. I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like for us, hey, college hockey is a one-room schoolhouse. It's different in that respect than football and basketball and baseball. At least in football, basketball, and baseball, they're all Division I institutions. Since we put in the transfer portal, the transfer portal has killed the non-power schools. And like I said, they've killed it because we're a one-room schoolhouse. We have big, glamorous D1 institutions in hockey, the Big Ten schools and Boston College and Arizona State, and then you got North Dakota, Denver. We got some big, glamorous type schools. Then we have Division III institutions, Union College, RIT, Division III schools that are sponsoring hockey at the D1 level. The majority of the schools in hockey are D2. So it's a one-room schoolhouse. And college hockey, like I said, the other sports, at least they're all Division I institutions for the most part. Some are Power 5, some are Group of 5. But like in hockey, like we have a really delicate ecosystem that held everything together. And what held it together was players that left, you had to sit out a year. So if you left, you really had to want to go, and players wouldn't do it. And now we have unrestricted free agency. Free agency without compensation. It's worse than professional sports. At least professional sports, there's a collective bargaining agreement. I mean, when my brother, the pole camp kid, leaves Bemidji, he was their best player last year. They got a good player in him, and he walks and goes to Denver. Like, they lose their best player and they get nothing in return. You know, Wilkie goes to North Dakota, Scarfoni and Kukkonen go to Wisconsin. You know, and where I'm going with this, guys, is if you open up, if you increase the pool, like we need this, the have-not schools, the haves are benefiting from all the rules right now. The rich are getting richer. And what we need, if we can increase the talent pool available, maybe we get better players to replenish our losses and we can make up some of the ground. Because right now, you see it in all sports. In football, the gap between the group of the Power Five, the Group of Five, and then you've got that next level where North Dakota State and those schools play. That gap is widening. It's widening massively between the Power Four now, the Power Four and the Group of Five. Basketball, it's widening. Baseball is going to with the new rules, and with hockey, yeah, man, it's like I said, we just college hockey is it's a delicate deal. We're a one-room schoolhouse, and these rules, the portal, the NLI, the COVID fifth year is going to go away, but the big schools have access to the cost of attendance money, the Allsted money, and it's not healthy for the sport. But like I said, I'm going to come back around on this. If we open up and get the major junior kids eligible, if we can increase the talent pool, like right now, our problem with the smaller schools, the have-nots, is replenishing our losses from we're getting constantly poached. Our best players are going, and the established power schools already, the rich are getting richer by being able to add basically experienced free agents.
Frank, you're 100%. Dean Wilson here, and I had a quick conversation with Morinville yesterday for about 2 hours. So he told me, talk about the NIL. That'll get them all jacked up. Frank will talk for days. And I agree with you 100%. The rich get richer. The big get bigger. How do you compete with the Big Ten with the cash flow of those guys when they have 126,000 people in a football stadium? But, but anyways, but Morinville, he sends me a picture of you and him at the Jasper, and he goes, yeah, I had to buy the Italian boy and his wife a good meal. And I go, why are there 2 receipt sheets on the counter? You didn't buy his, Morinville. And then the other piece he just cracks me up. But anyways, he said, get Frank jacked up about the NIL. And then I'm going to switch and dial it back a little bit. That we had a big loss in the last few weeks with Chad Demers. You were a great mentor. He played for you. We can't say enough about Chad and his what he was all about, and maybe just touch a little bit about that.
Well, to Demi, what a great kid he was. Like, that kid was born to be a hockey player, and he was born to be a hockey coach. He wasn't the most gifted natural athlete, but he had hockey sense. He had determination. He had good skill. He had leadership skills. He was the captain of every team basically that he ever played on. And he was a special guy, and did a lot of great things in his short life. And of course, here at Air Force, he came in and played on an NCAA tournament team as a freshman. And by the time he was a junior, he was the captain of the team. And I remember going into Grand Forks. We lost that heartbreaker last night to Colorado College. We lost a similar heartbreaker to one of Hack's teams when we came into play. I think it was a Hall of Fame game or something like that. But the Demerses had, had the entire team, up for dinner, and it was a great time, great experience. And But no, he's one of my boys, and always will be. And yeah, he's a special guy. He's gonna be greatly missed.
Yeah, I will.
Say, Coach, I told you we would try to keep it short, and we're going to let this end right on this subject because Chad, Eddie coached Chad, I coached Chad, Dean coached Chad. He was your captain, right? So
Yep.
We're going to leave it on that subject. Hey, you go out and win tonight, Coach. Take no prisoners.
All right.
You beat the heck out of them. And threaten him with some secret weapon nobody knows
And
of.
Frank, make sure Mournville buys. Always does the alligator on you and he claims he bought everybody's meal. And I saw 2 checks on the counter in his picture. You know what I mean? So he's like Mr. Drysdale in the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah. Hey, the spots on that leopard aren't going to change. You know? Yeah.
Hey,
Coach
thanks, Coach.
Serratore, thank you.
Appreciate coming on.
Thanks, Frank.
Well, always entertaining to have Frank Serratore on this show. He tell you what, I wish he had some more opinions, right, Eddie?
You know, we'll have him back on. He's always more than willing. So thank you to Gateway Chevrolet, our period intermission sponsor, where you can save big on Chevy, Silverado, Equinox, or Blazer. Go online at fargochevrolet.com. So we'll be back here on the Hockey Guys to wrap things up and get through the remaining scores that we haven't discussed prior to now.
This is a good drinking song, isn't it, Wills? Huh? Boom.
Yeah, a little liar's dice.
Hey, listen. Zach Naring, Rookie of the Month in the NCHC. Born and raised in Minot, North Dakota, kid. Boys here.
A magician.
6 feet 3 inches, 180 pounds. He's 19 years old. Never played high school hockey in Minot.
Last guy that came out at 6'3", 228, and entered college at 19 instead of 17 like the rest of us was probably yourself.
All right. Mr. Naring, growing up in Minot, ended up playing for Shattuck, St. Mary's, 14U. Next year, the 15U AAA, 18U AAA, 16U AAA, 18U prep team, 18U prep team. Played last year for the Sioux Falls Stampede in the USHL. 44 games, 9 goals, 5 assists, 14 points. Playing for Western Michigan in the month of October, averaging 1.25 points a game.
Upped his game at the college level. Good for him.
I always like to see those North Dakota boys, especially out west, do well, right, Wills? Huh?
100%. Rybczynski, come on, give me a shout-out from Botno. Usually you're in my hip pocket already. Another score last night, Cobber men. Eddie, you got to help me out in there. They won 5-2 last night. I didn't catch who they played. 5 goals in the third period. But what is the Concordia Cup? What's that?
Concordia Cup.
Yeah, is that like did they play against a team for
Maybe
2
that
games?
maybe that was an inter squad scrimmage.
I don't think so.
I think that was a joke, Wills.
Was it a joke?
Yeah, it has to be another team within their league. But isn't
Well, if
that
it's a
awesome,
Concordia
though?
Cup, you have Concordia St. Paul that doesn't have hockey, and you have Concordia at Moorhead.
See, North Dakota and Denver every year
Coach Olam, good job, buddy. Good job.
should
Maybe-
have
maybe
something
he'll
like
call
the
in. Maybe he'll call
Rocky
in and tell
Mountain
us.
Cup, the Medora Cup.
You know, the stone that the Bison played with South Dakota for football.
That they think was the stone that was in place, but actually
I wonder
during
who still has the nickel. I want to know who has the big nickel. I've touched that nickel big thing. I wonder who has got it.
well, obviously North Dakota's got it.
Is it on display? I don't know.
No. It's in their secret vault.
I remember one year some college kids had taken it, and they finally came clean and brought it back.
How'd you feel? You
Well,
feel
there was
guilty?
just no room in those dorms at Walsh Hall. There's no room.
Lots of room.
Hey, North Dakota tonight playing Boston College?
Last night they were at Cornell.
Cornell. And they got Boston College tonight?
Well, check their schedule. I don't think they play Cornell twice
we're
in a
not
row.
prepared here.
They're Cornell at 7 o'clock.
Also, they play Cornell again. Ooh. Cornell is a disciplined team.
Well, I always say East Coast. I mean, it's powerful out there.
Everybody's back. The ones we talked, everybody's back. St. Thomas Augustana's back up. You've got the Wisconsin Notre Dame game back. You have Penn State Minnesota back up. So Boston College St. Cloud. So the real pairwise has started.
Now the fun begins, right?
We haven't brought up the pairwise, but the real pairwise has started. So it'll be interesting to see now what begins to happen in the game of college hockey. Which division, because we haven't even looked at and discussed it, but which league's going to come out with the power-wise points to start to see, is the East going to push hard to get those BC, BU, Mass, those teams up in the high rankings? Where do you see things starting out? Which league's going to come out?
You know what? My thoughts are East Coast. I think it's going to hit it there. I mean, they've been showing it. They're playing well. They got top players, kids that are supposed to get drafted number 1, 2 in the National Hockey League. They're the real deal out East. They've been rated 1 and 2, the Boston schools. I'm going East right now.
I'm going to go back to Cornell, okay? Assistant coach is Casey Jones. Casey Jones was originally an assistant coach at Cornell. Then he moved on to become head coach at Clarkson. Clarkson had all of those great years and great success Cornell brought him in to be an assistant this year to acclimate the team, recruiting to take over for Coach Schaefer after this year. That's interesting. Secondly, Corey Lieberman, former assistant coach for the Fargo Force, is the director of operations and assistant coach this year, was hired at Cornell. So those coaches carousel that we have seen in the USHL, Mr. Lieberman found a spot, one of the top programs in the country. What do I think is going to happen tonight? I'll tell you. I think it's going to be the reverse. I think North Dakota is going to come out and say, hey, we outshot him, right? Let's get physical, play North Dakota hockey.
Time to play heavy.
Play heavy, and let's go, right? They got to play their game.
And you
Get pucks on net, and in the power play, if you're struggling, shoot the frickin' puck, right?
2 passes, put it on net.
And a little shout out to Vinny. He sends to me, where are the hockey guys? I said, we're right here on 970 WDAY, live Saturdays, 9 o'clock a.m.
Ask Vinny where he is, not coming by for Ham's beer.
Vinny's pedaling 10,000 miles he put in last month.
Here's another good one. Guess who played at Cornell? My favorite goalie of all time.
Ken Dryden.
Ken Dryden. Hey, Ick out there. Thanks for the tip, buddy. I owe you a pop. You know what I'm saying? A strong 0.5.
You thought you had me on there.
Got people
Ken Dryden's a lawyer.
I know, but I can't take credit because that's a good hit. That's Ken Dryden, one of the best goalies of all time. Montreal Canadiens.
Always shows up when they're winning. Haven't seen him around lately, have you?
Thanks, Ick. I appreciate that.
Well, listen, we greatly appreciate. We got 1 minute left here, Eddie. I know we got to thank some people, but go ahead.
Valley Imports, thank you for being the presenting sponsor of the hockey guys. Of course, cheers to Hams. We're good with Atlanta Sky Blue Water. Citywide Electric, give Brent and his team a call. Gateway Chevrolet, I think car deals are coming. And also to our weekly sponsors, Fargo Forest, Bagan Strindon, Dakota Refrigeration, Welton's Tire Service, Carpet World, and Halstonson Ask You Wealth Management.
Hey, there were 2 good hockey players there, right, Will?
Somewhere in here, we should probably get one of those on or both of them at different times and maybe get a couple of Coach Will stories out of the Ask You. Or out of,
I don't know how much time we got left, but my gal I work with, Barb Weber, her brother was roommates with Ken Dryden at Cornell.
Oh, you're breaking up here right now. You're breaking up.
Barely hear ya.
Barely hear you. We'll be back next week. Oh. Wills, I cut you off early.
What the heck?
Yeah, oh man, Eddie, what are we doing?
I'm not sure what we're doing, but we're asking for a timeout.